We have another case of police using excessive force, this time in Staten Island, where a 43-year-old man by the name of Eric Garner died as a result of a plainclothes police officer putting him in a chokehold. Now, this all started when there was allegedly a fight happening in front of a salon in Staten Island, and witnesses in the area allege that Garner tried to break up the fight. At that point, police officers were called on the scene, and the two individuals that were fighting walked away, and Garner remained. At that point, here's what ensued. The video is difficult to watch, so I want to give you guys that warning. Take a look.
You play your hard way for what? Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It stops today.
This guy right here is forcibly
trying
to lock somebody up for breaking up a fight.
Everybody standing here, they told you I didn't do nothing. I did not sell nothing. Because every time you see me, you want to harass me, you want to stop me, trying to sell cigarettes. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time, please just leave me alone. Please, don't touch me. Don't touch me, please.
Hold on.
Don't touch me, please. Do not touch me.
Put your hand behind your back.
I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
All he did was break up a fight. And this is what happens for breaking up a fight. This shit is crazy.
So you can hear him saying, "I can't breathe" several times, but they won't let up. The police...
Was he still in the chokehold that whole time? I couldn't tell.
You can't see because there's too many people blocking him.
Yeah, you can't see
I
it.
presume.
But the cops are standing by what they did. We don't know if any of them are going to face an investigation or any charges for what happened. But a police source says the following: he, meaning Garner, absolutely resisted arrest. He took a fighting stance.
So a couple of things there. One, I don't blame them for saying he resisted arrest. So hold on. Now, first of all, he shouldn't have arrested him in the first place. According to all witnesses on the scene, he was breaking up a fight. Apparently what he does is he sells cigarettes at 50 cents a pop per cigarette, which is what he does in the neighborhood, and technically it's illegal and you could get him for that, but who cares? It's not enough.
That's what the cops were saying to him, is that
Right.
that's what they said he was selling cigarettes.
Right, and so it's not like he's selling heroin and it's a code, cigarettes are a code word. No, he was selling actual cigarettes.
Lucy's.
Yeah, that's the Lucy's, right. So there was no need to escalate it, right? And he was not in a fighting stance. You just saw the video. He wasn't. But at the same time, he didn't put his hands behind his back. They had to bring him to the ground. But that's why you shouldn't arrest people for no reason, because some percentage are going to get mad that they're being arrested for no reason. They're not necessarily going to strike back at you. He never hit them, right? No. But they're going to be reluctant to say, yeah, okay, fine, arrest me, put your hands behind your back. And you got to be careful with a chokehold. Oh, it's called a chokehold. And look, I know that when I used to wrestle around, and I did wrestling when I was a kid on the team, and then we'd wrestle around with guys outside of that and use other moves that we saw in wrestling on TV and stuff. And you were always told that if a guy can say I can't breathe, that means he can breathe. Okay? Which turns out to be not true, right?
I can't believe what you learned in wrestling isn't true.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and normally, again, what I was told is if you do the V-neck position, that it applies pressure here and can knock you out, but it can't choke you. And it looked like he was doing the V-neck one as opposed to bringing the bar of your arm across the throat, which is an actual chokehold, and then you really can't breathe. But all of those holds you have to be incredibly careful. But I didn't know about it. I once knocked a guy out with the V hold, and I thought he was kidding around, and I let him go, and he, bam, fell on the ground and hit his head, right? So now if you're a cop, you've got an extra responsibility. So don't get into those conflicts. Now the guy's dead when he didn't need to be dead.
The New York City Patrol Guide, as the New York Times describes it, as a voluminous book, contains rules for officers, says very clearly members of the New York City Police Department will not, it's capitalized, not as, use chokeholds, and defining a chokehold as any maneuver that places pressure to the throat or windpipe which may prevent or hinder breathing or reduce intake of air. Under that standard, that was a chokehold.
And you said he was resisting arrest, which is true in the sense that he didn't put his hands behind his back, but I couldn't stop noticing that his free hand was totally open. He wasn't trying to conceal anything. He didn't ball up his fist like he was going to punch somebody. So I think it actually makes a difference. Like, yeah, he didn't put his hand behind his back, but his free hand was totally open, showing there's nothing in my hand. I'm not trying to hurt you. Please stop trying to hurt me.
You know, and also, like, he was resisting arrest in the sense that they asked him to be arrested and he resisted it. He was not fighting back in any way.
There was no fighting stance.
Right. His resistance was, no, don't arrest me. No, I'm not going to give you my hands. That's a big difference when we think of resisting arrest.
Right.
It's
fisticuffs.
Right,
Yeah,
and there was
I
none
got
of
the
that.
sense that they wanted to paint him as a violent, dangerous criminal. When police officers were questioned about this, with the press, they basically said, "Oh, well, he had a history of selling drugs," like making him seem like he's a violent guy. But several people who knew him, several witnesses said he was not violent at all. He was not trying to cause trouble. Sure, he was selling the cigarettes, which of course is illegal. But really, you're gonna get mad. You're gonna arrest someone if you want to write him a citation or something. Okay, I guess I could understand that, sort of. But this guy is a perfect example of someone who has no power. That's how he made his living, by selling cigarettes for 50 cents a pop, right? You're going to arrest him. You're going to put him in a chokehold over that. How ridiculous is it?
The Reverend Lloyd Land from the First United Christian Church said that he was, quote, a gentle giant. People in the area said that he was, quote, like a big teddy bear, and he would literally give them a hug every day. Now, police then turn around and say, what are you talking about? He has 3 pending criminal cases against him. Well, okay, so what are they for? Now, the police implied that there was other drugs that he would sell. No. Charges for possession and sale of untaxed cigarettes.
Yeah, so it's untaxed.
That's the whole.
They didn't get their cut.
Right. I mean, that's what
the
it
problem.
is.
He's
I mean,
buying
that makes it even more sickening.
Yeah.
He's buying the pack and then selling it for more money.
Yeah.
It was aggravated unlicensed operation.
Oh, aggravated.
Okay, of a vehicle and false impersonation and marijuana possession in an August case. So that's a separate case.
Also,
okay. And by the way, that's marijuana possession, not selling it. All of this is regarding the selling the 50-cent cigarettes.
And I got the sense that he was just very frustrated with cops constantly harassing him. I mean, you could see that in the beginning of the video. He's asking them, please just leave me alone. I'm not causing any trouble. Leave me alone, leave me alone. They refuse to do so.
Do you think because of the things he was saying, he was calling them out, and I don't know if this matters, but I'm kind of assuming here, they seemed like they were much tinier dudes than he was. He's calling them out. He's saying, you guys are constantly coming after me for no reason. And at that moment, like, ego kicked in and like the cops were trying to save face. Oh, really? Well, now you have a problem. Like, doesn't it seem like it was just completely ego-driven?
But unfortunately, in 90% of the cases we cover on the show, now remember, those are the extreme cases. We don't cover the normal cop on the beat who did a good job, right? And sometimes there's extraordinary cases where cops do something great, right? But most of the time, it's because they got in the news for doing something really, really bad. But 90% of those cases are driven by ego. You didn't listen to my orders? Oh, I'm coming to get you. Like, that's the worst thing you could do to a cop. Not that underlying crime, whatever it was, murder, selling 50-cent cigarettes. It doesn't matter. If you disrespect them, they're going to come for you, and oftentimes it leads to things like this.
And by the way, when you said you don't normally cover, the show doesn't normally cover when cops do something right, I disagree. Like, when you're just doing your job as a cop, it doesn't need to be covered because you're doing your job. But if a police officer goes above and beyond and does something great, I think that generally in the news they're recognized. So it's only fair and it's only right that when something goes horribly wrong, that's recognized too.
Can you imagine if there was a news story every single time someone did a really great job at what they're supposed to do? Like, wow, the Young Turks did a really great job today reporting this story.
That's what Twitter's for.
Dr. Warner nailed that filling. Thank you.
But, you know, every day on the news, you guys don't watch local news as much as I do, meaning ever. But every day, there's 7 cop stories on the local news. Every day. 15, 100, that's what there are. And what it is somebody's committed the crime, and here's a police spokesman, or here's just a bunch of police walking around keeping you safe, protecting you. They get good stories every goddamn day. Every day, every day, every day, again and again and again and again. So it's horseshit that. And I'm, as you know, a bigger defender of police than you are. But the notion that they don't get
Their credit.
They get it every day. They're out there in their uniforms, looking cool, keeping us safe. And those stories are reported very sort of flaccidly and without any depth, in a sense of, oh God, thank God the police are here, or the situation would be much worse.